Hello Internet, and today I have a new video for you. Basically what I'm talking about today is something that has actually happened to me in the past. So a few years ago, on August 25th, which is coincidentally my brother's birthday, my family was getting ready to go on a trip for my brother. We were supposed to leave early the next morning and stay for a whole week. But anyways, I was playing some games with my brother talking about our trip when my dad runs into the room saying that he'd found a bat in my neighbor's backyard and that we should go check it out. So he went outside to where my neighbor was standing and saw the bat on the ground a few feet in front of him. Now, seeing bats on the ground wasn't really normal. We could often see them in the night sky, but we'd never seen any close up. But we already knew it couldn't fly because my dad had found it on the ground and told us about it. But my dad thought it was because it broke its wing. We stood in a small circle around it for a few minutes, then my dad decided to pick it up. So first we picked it up on a piece of paper, then my dad decided to pick it up with his hand. It crawled up and down his arm for a few minutes. Then my dad asked if my brother and I wanted to hold it. My brother was first too scared to hold it and stepped back a little, being, a little bit of a scaredy cat. But I decided to hold it. So I put my hand out to hold the bat, and my dad dropped it onto my open hand. Now that was a terrible idea, and no one should try to hold a bat unless they're like a trained zookeeper or something. Because as soon as the bat landed on my hand, it bit me and held on. The bite itself didn't really hurt, but what did hurt was when my dad tried to pry off the bat with a stick he'd found on the ground. Eventually, the bat did come off though, and I went inside my house to wash off the bite. My mom saw me inside and asked what I was doing, so I told her, and she took me to a hospital because she thought the bat had rabies. For anyone here who doesn't know, rabies is a disease carried by animals that sort of makes them go crazy and bite things to infect other animals. To humans, rabies is 100% fatal without the vaccine. So I went to the hospital with my mom, while my dad and my brother went to sleep. I stayed at the hospital for a few hours waiting for something to happen. That's the one big downside to free healthcare is the long lines for it. But eventually, I got into a room where I had to have 2 big needles. Now, I have a pretty bad fear of needles. I mean, normally you avoid being impaled, right? So I had a bit of difficulty actually taking the needles, but it did happen. And let me tell you, the needles did hurt. It probably didn't help my fear of needles. But I got the needles, and the next day I went on my trip with my family. I did have to get more needles, though. And my neighbor caught the bat and sent it to animal control where they tested it for rabies. My mom didn't like hearing that it was positive for rabies. But anyways, that's how I became the only human infected with rabies in my city. For years. If you liked that video, please like, share, and subscribe for more, and as always, have a great day.